Monsieur Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fay.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Hi, good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask Dr. Ceesay which government website the announcements were made on.
Trustee.gm.
Sorry?
Trustee.gm.
And that's a government website?
It was created purposely for this exercise.
Ah, trustee.gm.
Yeah.
Did you ever visit the site when it was? Is it still on or it's down
I'm not
now?
sure if it's still on. The sales are not yet complete. I think they'll continue doing the sales. I'm not sure if it's still on, but I know that Trustee.gm was created purposely for the exercise, for the recovery exercise.
Since the Jammeh Commission has submitted its report, which was accepted by the government, and also since the commission is dissolved, the government has a responsibility to answer any query on the issue.
Of course, government has a response. That is why we are doing a comprehensive report, the audit report. That's why government.
He thinks you're being deflective by saying, well, it's the commissioners or whoever.
Yeah, but that is the fact.
Who should come
but that is the fact.
No, you take responsibility.
The commissioners sold off those assets and therefore should be able to explain to Gambians the process and the manner in which they were sold.
They would have explained that in the report that you have now.
No, the Jammeh report, the report.
Have you seen the Jammeh report?
I have not read it comprehensively. I think I just read the white paper. That is, government has accepted all the recommendations of the Jammeh Commission. Those ones I've read, and also some of the actions that came about were as a result of the white paper. But what is crucial is that government takes these allegations very seriously. Government will investigate, and the audit report will really give us an idea as to what exactly happened.
Okay, may God protect the audit report not to be seen as opinion this time. This opinion expression.
I think people don't understand the technicality there. Audit reports are opinion, just like you have legal opinions. It's not like when you say their opinion, we don't mean they are just mere subjective opinions.
Well, a lot of people think, the president was just dismissing them as halati jambur.
He never dismissed it that way. What the context in which he was speaking was that you cannot just use audit reports alone of themselves and take people to court based on audit report. No, it has to go through a process. The audit report has to be given if there are suspicions of malpractice or fraud. It has to be given to the competent authority, which is the police, to investigate further. So what people wanted was that you have an audit report. Mm-hmm. Peter Gomez's name is mentioned as doing XYZ, so take Peter to court and take him to jail. It doesn't work like that. This is a democracy. Democracy has rules. That is why they call it due process. So when audit report comes out and somebody has been adversely mentioned, it has to go now to the police to investigate whether that exactly is the case before it goes to the AG chambers. This is for prosecution. This is the process. So when we say audit report is an opinion, it's an opinion. Just like how you say you have legal opinions, it's not like we are saying it's mere subjective opinion. No, it's an opinion based on some facts. But again, for you to go to the next stage and prosecute, it has to go through another process.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. Okay, Peter, it is unfortunate that the thing has come back again. Maybe it's been updated. It is unfortunate that this government is, for the most part, on the defensive. I say on the defensive because the government should have proactively undertaken to be judicious, transparent, and upright with the citizenry. We all knew that the seizure and sale of the assets of President Jammeh was going to be a sensitive and politically sensitive undertaking, and the government cannot tell me that they could not have perceived such sensitivity. If this government was responsible and transparent, they would have ensured the following. 1, no member of cabinet should have been allowed to purchase any of the assets. Are you listening?
I'm listening.
2, there should have been utmost transparency in the sales process, and all sales outcomes should have been publicized in accordance with the Access to Information Act, access to information enacted by government presupposes that matters of national interest must be publicized by government rather than waiting for the citizenry to ask, demand, or request for such information. 3. The issue of who the buyers of the assets of the president are has been on the national radar for over a year now. Why is the citizenry still waiting for the release of who the buyers are? What is so damning about those that bought that government is hesitant to release the much-awaited report?
So on the first point,
Yeah.
as to
No member of cabinet should have been allowed to purchase.
Well, I don't have any evidence to.
Well, Hamad Ba has been named.
It's an allegation. Where is the evidence that he bought? Where is the evidence? I haven't seen any evidence to that effect. Until and unless I see a comprehensive report which mentions him as he has bought, I would not really accept that as the fact. There is no evidence. It's an allegation. Anybody could. I've even seen people saying that some ministers bought in the estates and land, some ministers bought. But if you look at the names, no minister's name was there. There's a list that is circulating. The names are very clearly there. And also the process and manner in which the sales were done, it was very transparent. Nobody, Alpha Capital, nobody was able to influence the manner in which they did the sales.
So you're saying no member of cabinet was allowed to buy stuff?
With the estates and the sales done by the receiver. For that one?
No, the guy is saying no member of cabinet should have been allowed to purchase any of the assets.
That's what I'm saying. There's no evidence that any cabinet member purchased assets. Where's the evidence? I've not seen it.
Okay.
Until and unless we see that evidence, then we can discuss that. But for now, there's no evidence that happened.
There should have been utmost transparency in the sales process, and all sales outcomes should have been publicized in accordance with the Access to Information Act. Access to information enacted by government presupposes that matters of national interest must be publicized by government rather than wait for the citizenry to either ask or demand or request for such information.
No, but I mean, it's normal that sometimes that is why you have the access to information. Information is given to the public through two means, either proactive disclosure or citizens requesting for it. You can't expect government to just give every information like that. Sometimes citizens request, sometimes we give. So where we don't give if they request and we give, this the same thing. So you cannot expect government to just be there and just give every information like that. Sometimes it can be oversight that maybe we didn't give it because there was no request for it, but if there's a request, we'll give it. So access to information comes in two forms. Either government proactively gives the information or the citizens request for it. What could have been bad is that if citizens request for it and we denied them, then we could have said that's another thing. But for me, as long as
citizens are demanding for the list of those who purchased
it will be published. It will be published. In fact, I've seen a list trending around. So it means that at least, Peter, one thing that is clear with the receiver is that the names of there are records of those who bought and the valuations of the properties and how much they bought them for. This information is there. As opposed to the...
Come on, that's a given. You expect that information to be there.
That's what I'm saying. But we'll publish this information.
It's not about the availability of the information. We know that information is available. Why is that information being protected?
I think I've seen the debate shifting now. And this is interesting. Away from wrongdoing on the part of government to failing to publish the information. I think many governments now understand that based on the report by Mustafa Dabo, there is no evidence of wrongdoing on the part of government. Instead, the blame now is shifting towards saying that government did not proactively disclose this information, which we will do in due course.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure about there not being any wrongdoing. That's for Dabo to clarify. The issue of who the buyers of the assets of the president are has been on the national radar for over a year now. Why is the citizenry still waiting for the release of who the buyers are? What is so damning about those that bought that government is hesitant to release the much awaited
people
report?
Who bought these properties did it through the right way, and these are citizens, Gambians, who bought it following due process and using the right procedure. So there's nothing to hide.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. I'm ashamed to hear that to hear the minister saying that the tractors which were given to Gambian farmers were sold by our government.
Jammeh Commission sold it.
Yeah, but these were for the farmers.
Yeah, but I don't know I don't know the nature and manner in which they were sold. What I know is that tractors were sold.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it would really be nice to have somebody from the Jammeh Commission, because I mean,
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Because, and I think that is why I kind of have an issue with Mustafa's expose. He did not really go in detail into that aspect of it. He was focusing more on the receiver and the part of government. He wasn't focusing more on and I think he must have got even information on that, but he just brushed it and moved on. But Peter, one thing that I find so bizarre, I don't know whether you've noticed it, is that the UDP, even if the president coughs, they write a statement. I've not seen them write a statement on this whole issue from my brother Tombong.
What are you suggesting now?
I don't know. I mean, yesterday I was sleeping and I was thinking. Sometimes I think in my sleep that whatever happens, even the slightest move by the president, Tombong said whose statements I've come to now regard as personal opinions and not official communication from UDP because of the manner in which they are written, did not write any statement, nothing from the UDP on this whole issue. It baffles me. What is the issue? I think you need to ask that question.
What do you think is the issue?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Why bring it up?
Well, it just crossed my mind that I haven't seen any statement from the UDP on this issue. Everybody's talking. Everybody's making their opinions. I don't know what's happening. Why is the UDP quiet?
Maybe they just feel that Mustafa has spoken for them.
But they would normally compliment people like Mustafa's statement, but there's no compliment, no statement, nothing, zero.
Are you suggesting that there might be some UDP sacred cows that are being protected?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to suggest and insinuate anything. What I will say is what I observe.
Brought it up.
I'm just expressing my observations that the UDP is quiet on this issue. Nothing from Tombong said. Tombong said they will write 3 articles a day, 3 statements a day from the UDP communications.
Yeah, because you give him reason to.
Yeah, but there's a reason for him to. Now, what's wrong with this? This has been the talk of the town the past couple of days. Everybody's having their opinion, and what I've even observed is a lot of the people who are expressing their opinions on the issue never read Mustafa's article.
Oh, you can't be sure about that.
I can assure you that. If you look at the line of their argument, you know they haven't read the article. They're just following the flow. They haven't read the rejoinder by the former Justice Minister Batambe. They haven't read it. But all they do is marirandor lañ ñu topa rir gi rek. Everyone is going this way, ñun tam ñu demee nii, ñun tam ñu condemn. But they haven't even taken their time to read the article. Ñu sega ko. What is Mustafa alleging? What evidence is he bringing for these allegations? Did the government do any wrongdoing on the part of government? They never did that. All they were is that, publish. And if you publish it, they won't even read what you've published. Just like I was saying, Gambians were saying, no, we have to play our home games. The Galena Stadium be pare. Nyundan Sona, we want to support our Scorpions. We had a home game. It was empty.
Yeah, because Gambians could not afford the ticket price.
I mean, how much was the price?
First it was 1,000, brought down to 700.
Yes.
In these hard times?
Yes.
VIP was 5,000. You were there. Did you pay 5,000 to watch the game?
What honest. I'm saying is that what I can tell you is that, what I can confirm is that it would have, no matter the price, we should have come out to support the Scorpions and show that now alas, we are playing our game at home ground. No matter the price. For me,
by the way, these were
anything for country. Nothing is expensive for country to support the Scorpions and come out to the stadium.
These were not the senior Scorpions, by the way. This was the Chan team.
Scorpion is Scorpion. But anyways, coming back to my point, Peter, that the UDP are conspicuously quiet on this issue. And I think
you are wagging the tail of a sleeping lion.
No. I'm just making I'm just trying to think why? What is happening? Why is Tombong not really bringing? Normally he would be the first to write statements on these issues, but zero, no statement, nothing, not even a sentence.
Barnadal, keep poking the tail. Hello, Peter. A viable industry that had always paid taxes to the dot was Jewel Brew. We still do not know why it was closed when it had thousands of employees, either direct or indirect. We now have the new brewery, but still have drinks coming from outside. When will we know the reason for Jewel Brew's closure? Who has bought it, if at all, and why was it closed?
No information on that.
Will you try to find out?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Good morning, Peter. I disagree. Doctor saying that government subsidizes unit rate for electricity. The energy minister stated that NAWEC buys the unit from Senelec and Car Power for 11 cents and sells to the customer for 14 cents. So it is erroneous to say electricity is subsidized.
I don't think he knows what the meaning of subsidy is. So if you understand,
so help him understand.
Subsidy means that if you are supposed to pay a particular price, you pay a discounted price, and the balance government pays for it. So even if they buy it from 11 cents and sell it to us at 14 cents, it means that the natural price could have been maybe 18 cents. And but government gives us 14 cents, and government pay the difference 4 cents. That is the subsidy there.
Okay, Madi.
So it means that NAWEC is selling it at a price which is basically at a kind of a loss, or not the optimum profit where they can be able to maintain their operations. Therefore, government has to come in and pay the difference.
Okay. Madi, pushing back on two issues. Alpha Capital never advertised any auction about the sale of the assets publicly. Here is their website. Peter, I put it to him that trustee.gm is not active. It never was accessible publicly.
Well, that's his own opinion. What I know is that trustee.gm was active and was used for the purpose of the sales of the assets.
Okay. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask the doctor, one, what does he think is true in the Republic report so far? Two, was it a slip of a tongue when he said a full report was submitted to the National Assembly, or does he just don't know? And three, ask the doctor whether he knows that the Gambia is a family.
It's a family. Well, I cannot answer the last question. What I can answer the second question is that, like I said, that's what I've been told. And when I make statements, I made it very clear that I've been told that a report was submitted to the National Assembly. Now, this can be proven right or wrong, but like I said, I'm just conveying what I've been told. This is, like, people understand that I am here to speak for government, and I get information from different sectors. What I get is what I convey. And if it turns out to be wrong, we'll come back and say, well, we got this one wrong. That wasn't the case, and life goes on. But what I'm saying, the information I've got is that a report was given to the National Assembly with the names of those who purchased the assets.
The first question was, did you find anything that you believe to be true in the Mustafa K. Dabo report, the Republic report?
I mean, obviously, in terms of what? That question is a bit confusing. He made statements like the fact that Alpha Capital was appointed by the AG Chambers. That's true. The fact that a ministerial task force was set up to oversee the sale is true. This ministerial task force comprised of Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Tourism, and Ministry of Finance. And the reason why they brought these ministries and their technical team is because of relevance. They are relevant to the recovery process. Some of these statements, obviously, plainly, they are just public knowledge, they are true. But there are also a few anomalies, there are a few erroneous statements, which I think were not true, and there is no evidence to back them up. And those are the ones I've raised.
Somebody saying all the allegations of wrongdoing in the case in question happened at a time when the government was still a UDP-dominant coalition government. That's not a question.
Well, I mean, the UDP held sway at that time in government, so therefore, they also should be able to answer some questions on this.
Hello, Peter. In 2023, Gambia government will not reveal buyers of Jammeh's properties. In 2025, Gambia government will reveal full details. What has changed?
What has changed is that government now has decided to reveal it.
So in 2023, it was not the optimum time to reveal
I can't
details.
speak of 2023. What I know is that now government is ready to reveal the details.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Ceesay.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de de. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave, bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Nobody's threatening any journalist. I think as a government, we have a strong record, a very proud record, that it is under the tenure and leadership of His Excellency the President Adama Barrow that journalists now can practice safely, freely in this country. So I think that nobody can change, but nobody is making any threats against any journalist. And journalists holding us accountable is something that we appreciate, and we don't only appreciate it, we also want to nurture it. That is why we hold regular press conferences, inviting journalists to come and ask questions. That is why we're open to the media. That is why we brought in an access to information law that people can use to access information. So I think, I don't know why Mahdi is making such a statement, but I think it has no relevance.
Well, because Hamad says he will.
It's not a threat. He's just saying, as a citizen, if Mahdi was injured by any journalist, Mahdi would take legal action if he feels so.
Looks like Hamad was, wanted to come back. Hamad, come back again. We lost the Wi-Fi momentarily. That's why. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Ask Dr. Ceesay these questions for me. Brikama Road construction. As we approach the rainy season, the main highways in Brikama, particularly near the police station, remain in poor condition. Considering Brikama's status as the administrative headquarters of one of the country's largest regions, what measures is the government implementing to address these infrastructural challenges promptly? Let me just, take Hamad. I am sure he's back maybe to clarify something. Hamad, you are back on air. Thank you. What would you like to say this time?
Let me tell you, Peter, it is not for me to prove. It is he who accused me to prove that I did. The law is very clear in this country.
Okay.
Let him not nobody fool themselves. I did that with the standard, and of course, you know what happened. And I will do the same thing with this guy. No doubt about that.
So burden of proof is not on Hamad, but on, the publication.
No, the person accusing me.
Okay.
He has to prove that I did.
Okay.
And the courts will prove that. We'll get to the courts to show my innocence of this. No doubt about it. And I will not leave any stone unturned in dealing with this bad journalists in journalism in the country. Will not. Democracy doesn't mean you can just stand anywhere and accuse people and try to tarnish their image and think that you are doing good to yourself or your country. We will not take that. We will take them to court, and the courts will deal with them. Certainly, no doubt about that.
What time is it where you are, Hamad?
Yes. It should be about 6 o'clock. I woke up since 3 o'clock in the morning, Peter.
Okay. All
I
right.
have to do my prayers for 2 hours, move on, and then that's it. I'm getting ready to go.
Pray for me and Dr. Ceesay.
Let me pray for the country and all of you for that matter. Sensational journalism need to go out of that country. You cannot go and accuse people of people we have no idea how Jammeh cows were bought. No idea. Who told them how they were sold? And the Nigerian not getting Asaka. No way in my life, please. When someone like them go get Asaka, legal Islam dictate, I do it exactly that. It's my traditional asset. I believe in this, is my life. I don't joke with it. So I don't mix something that is out of bound for me to get into my asset. Never.
Okay.
Jammeh asset. Man Ahmad.
Okay.
No.
Thank you, Hamad.
No.
I think what the Honorable Minister is saying is that there is a basic principle in law, which is that he who asserts must prove. It's you who made the assertion. The burden of responsibility lies on you for you to prove it. If you make an assertion that Peter Gomez bought 10 vehicles from the Jammeh sales, and when you are saying it, you are with authority. You are not saying that I heard or it is alleged. You said he did it. If Peter Gomez takes you to court, the burden of responsibility lies on you for you to prove your statement.
Let's deal with the road construction issue from Brikama.
We have the NRA, through the Ministry of Works, through NRA, has done major surveys of major roads in Brikama for construction as part of the urban road constructions. Now, for the main road that he's talking about, from here I'll engage Ibrahim Asila to see what can be done to rehabilitate them before the rainy season. He's right. Those roads are in terrible condition.
Sila can call just as Hamad is calling from the United States.
Yes, I hope he will call. I hope he's listening. If he's listening, I would to call and give us an update. What I know is that we've done surveys of major roads in Brikama to be constructed. Now, for these roads that he's talking about, yes, they are in a very deplorable state, particularly during the rainy season. And I think I'll engage Ibrahim to see what can be done to rehabilitate them before the rainy season.
So that's for Brikama. Then he goes on to CRR North Road construction. In the Central River Region North, the road project connecting Lamin Koto through Banni and Kunting to the Kaleng Bush Town Highway appears to have been initiated and then abandoned. Could you provide clarity on the current status of this project and whether there are plans to resume construction in the near future? This is coming from Mahmoud Konjira, an aspiring journalist.
It's a good question. I think I would like you to send me that text message so that I can engage Ibrahim Asila as soon as this session is over. And if he can call, if he's listening, if he's not busy, he can answer that question.
Ibrahim could call. I'll send it to you right away. Where's my Dr. Ismaila Ceesay? You know, I have to look up your name all the time. I'm terrible with numbers. It's gone. So you should.
All right, I'll engage Ibrahim Asila on this, and I'll give feedback next time I'm here.
Peter, tell him that he wouldn't hear from the UDP because Gambians know the UDP created the NPP, and the UDP created the NPP.
Well, I don't think so. UDP is a fully registered political party.
Uncle Peter, you can hear anger in Hamad's voice. Ask the doctor, does this imply freedom of press? Is that a threat to journalists, or would the doctor say it's normal?
No, it's not a threat to journalists. Ahmad is just expressing his sentiments as to the manner in which he was unfairly named in an issue which he said is innocence. He's just emphasizing his innocence, and that he is also saying that he will take legal action against those who advancedly mention his name without any evidence. I think it's his right to do that.
All the recent texts are all about Hamad. Let Hamad just go to court if he is bothered. If he has something to prove, and stop making threats to journalists. So a lot of people are saying...
No, it's not threatening any journalist. I mean, saying that I'll take legal action, it's not a threat.
That's not a threat?
It is not a threat.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Now they've given you a pass. Most of the text messages about, about Hamad Ba. Let's see whether there's anything new. Threatening journalists to court is a concern. You don't own the courts, Hamad. Please, Hamad, stop the jokes. Hamad must take it easy. Okay, this one looks different. Since going to be or became a republic in 1965 to date, Adama Barrow's government is the most corrupt. All institutional departments, corruption is everywhere.
I think since independence to date, since Gambia became an independent sovereign state in 1965 and a republic in 1970, Adama Barrow's government has been the most transparent government in our history. And also the measures taken by his government to curb corruption has not been taken by any other government in the history of this country. And I can give you a few examples. For the first time in our history, this country has what they call an anti-corruption law, and now very soon inaugurate an anti-corruption commission, all just towards fighting corruption in this country.
Have we finalized the list of commissioners?
They are working on it at the moment as we speak. They are doing the interviews. For the first time for many years, the National Audit Office is active and strengthened and given the liberty and the latitude to go after and audit any MDA without any interference from central government. And as we speak recently, that is why audit reports are being out. That is why cases have been forwarded to the IGP for investigation and further transmission to the AG for prosecution. It's not happening. Our PPP laws have been updated to ensure value for money. There is a new procurement law to ensure that procurement processes are robust, and also so that to protect public finances. We've also gone, and also our drive towards digitization, reducing the use of cash transactions in MDAs. GRA has digitized. That is why GRA is able to meet their targets by pumping out 2.6 billion in revenue every month or above. So I think today ministers are called to the National Assembly and ask questions, and they can answer. The PAC is active. So I think the measures we've taken really to fight corruption, Peter, are really unprecedented. Yes, there are still challenges in the system, but we are doing everything within our power to ensure that we really deal with these issues, fight corruption. That is our priority. Fighting corruption is the president's priority. And everything we are doing these days, all the measures we are taking is just towards fighting corruption. So it's unfair to really make such labeling against the government, which has done more in fighting corruption than any other government in the history of this country.
Earlier on, I asked you whether Hamad taking a journalist to court wouldn't count against us, in the next RSF, media rankings, and you were convinced it wouldn't. Here is Modou Diouf. I'm sure you know the
GPU.
The Secretary General of the GPU, so he is in a position to know. Dr. Ceesay says, I don't think it will count if Hamad has a case. Kindly tell Dr. Ceesay that court cases against journalists for their work significantly count in the global press freedom ranking. He has seen that one of the reasons cited for our drop in ranking this year was the court case brought against the Voice newspaper.
What I can tell you is that Ahmad Ba is a citizen of this country. He has a right.
He's not an
ordinary citizen. That is Modou Diouf's own opinion.
No, I'm saying Ahmad Ba is no ordinary citizen.
Yeah, but he's a citizen at the end of the day. And if a citizen feels that a statement against his person is injurious, he has a right to take recourse in the courts. I don't see that as really affecting the other case is different. The other case with this Voice newspaper was that he was summoned by the police and called for question, and the state filed a case against him, and not a citizen, not an individual citizen who is working for government. It was the state that called him for questioning and charged him for giving for false information charges. That's a different thing. When a state does that, that's a different case. For this one, Ahmad Ba, as a citizen, believes that a statement made against his person is injurious, is false, and cannot be proven. He has a right to take legal action. That will not affect our ranking as a government. Modou Diouf, that is his opinion, but I differ with that.
Hello, Peter. Why are the potholes connecting Kairaba Avenue with the roundabout at the traffic lights not fixed? Is the NRA not aware of this?
Send me that text as well. I'll engage the NRA to fix that. I don't know what the plans are. I believe there's an excuse for that. But I'll engage Ibrahim Asila to give me clarity on that.
I think it's more than a pothole. That's just,
it's the connection between Kairaba Avenue and it's not completed. That's what it has to be complete. I don't know why it's been delayed, but I think it is an inconvenience. He's right.
All right. I think most of the, text messages coming lately are all about Hamad, and since Hamad is not here, maybe 2 minutes to wrap up.
Yes, like I said,
you need to remind
like I said, the article by Mustafa, yes, it's a good read, but it did not really in any way indict central government in any wrongdoing with evidence. It did not. I mean, most of the allegations are the manner in which the Jammeh Commission sold off some of the loose assets, the manner was intransparent. The only accusation against government in this case is that we are not being proactive in releasing the information to the public. That one will take on board that criticism. But like I said, no wrongdoing. What is clear is that no wrongdoing was on the part of government. We have not done any wrong. The manner in which the receiver, Alpha Capital, sold off the properties, that is the estates and the shares, were done in a transparent manner using competitive bidding. So for us, that is very clear. We'll
get the full comprehensive report.
And currently, the audit report is being finalized. The audit which looked at all the transactions surrounding the sale of Jammeh's assets, the audit report will be made public in due course. But also, government has decided to release the names of those who bought the Jammeh assets, together with the valuations and the prices they were bought. In due course, this will be released. I think it's very clear. So I hope that we'll put this debate to bed.
Fantastic. Dr. Ceesay, thank you very much for coming. Well, the conversation around the Jammeh assets will continue on Thursday, God willing, when we will have Honorable Almame Jiba. He's going to be our guest on Thursday. Thanks for listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Ceesay.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine. Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bustle mo fine? Wave. Your money is yours.